Is it normal to feel depressed in early sobriety? It's certainly very normal to wonder if what you're going through is normal. But let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? My name is Noah, and I myself am in early sobriety. Very early sobriety. According to my sobriety calculator and the brain inside of my head, I have 16 days sober, and I'm very, very, very grateful for that. Feelings of sadness and depression are 100% normal for me, and I've heard that sentiment echoed many, many times from many other people. One thing I do have going for me this round of early sobriety and recovery, because I just feel that's very, very important for me, is that I've been through it before. So I'm not going through anything that I haven't experienced in one way, shape, or form before, at least when it comes to the physical aspects and the physical side effects of getting sober. A lot of people have different backgrounds. They used in different ways, be it alcohol or drugs, to different severities and extents for different stretches of time. And all of these factors do play a part in how you're going to feel when you first get sober. But I'm going to, of course, speak from the perspective of myself and from the perspective of someone who's never dabbled in hard drugs, but certainly has a very tumultuous relationship with alcohol. I also want to mention, because I'm very afraid of YouTube right now as they've flagged my main account twice for community guideline strikes, that I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physician, I'm not an addictionologist. This is for educational purposes. Speaking on my experience, please consult your physician and or get professional help if you need it. This is not intended to treat, diagnose, or anything of that nature. It's sad that I have to say that, but I'm literally on the brink of losing my channel, and I don't want to do that. So what I've heard said before from medical professionals is that when we are ingesting alcohol or drugs, but again, I'm going to speak on alcohol, but the concept should remain universal, we are demanding something from our neurochemistry. We're demanding something from our brain that is not inherently natural. So when I flood my brain, when I flood my bloodstream with alcohol, I'm sending signals, unrelenting and powerful signals to my brain, telling it to produce dopamine, among other things. Feel-good neurotransmitters at very, very high clips. Constant signal, more dopamine, more dopamine, more dopamine. And when I stop, I definitely feel out of it, brain fog, and depressed. In fact, here I am 16 days sober, and for about the last week, that feeling of depression and hopelessness and mood swings and irritability has really, really risen. But this is something I've experienced before, so I understand it to be normal. I understand that right now I put my brain through a lot, and right now my brain is trying to adjust to the best of its ability. And if I consider the time frame that I was drinking at a really high clip, which was a couple years this time since I've been out, couple years of binge drinking, and then more specifically these last few months, I've been really, really hitting it hard. So I keep that in mind. I understand that I've been very, very hard on my brain, and right now it's not getting that constant signal to release dopamine, and I imagine it's tired, for lack of better words. I certainly don't want to get into the scientific aspects of it. That is the poor man's explanation, but the concept I think you understand. Demand for high production of neurotransmitters, dopamine. No demand. My natural baseline is going to be low. It's very, very normal for me to feel depressed, a bit anxious, ruminating, obsessive, in early sobriety. And I think it's really important to understand that. I think it's really useful for me to be mindful of what's going on. I can only imagine how stressful this would be if I hadn't already experienced this. Another thing to keep in mind is that if you drink like I drink, it was doing something for me. You know, it's doing something for you. It was filling a void. It was comforting you. It was getting you through. You were medicating. I've been medicating. So not just am I going through, obviously, a physical change in my brain, but that reliance on alcohol to change the way I felt, to bring me happiness, to bring me some relaxation, to take me away from stress, to cope, whatever. All of these things that sometimes are subconscious, other times they're very, very conscious, they're at the front of your mind. I was leaning on the drink, and I don't have that. I still, it was my greatest friend and my worst enemy in that respect. And so there's an emotional void now because I've got more time on my hands, and the thing I was leaning on to deal with life isn't there. It isn't there, and I'm having to seek it in different ways and make that adjustment. So I think there's like a bit of a mourning process. Like you have to say goodbye to something that, however destructive, however dangerous, however damning, my drinking was about to take everything from me. It was still your solution. It was still where you went, right, wrong or indifferent, instinctually or whatever. It's the way I've been wired, and you have to say goodbye to that. And if you just stop drinking, it will not be enough. If you just stop using, it's never enough. And that is why I got into a recovery program, and why I'm pouring myself into everything that's being asked of me, because I understand that from past experiences. I'll never just be okay not drinking. I've got a sickness of the mind. I buy into that very much. Alcoholism is a progressive disease, and mine was progressing. So the thing that I was reaching for to save me from myself was killing me. There's a sadness there that can definitely make you feel depressed, because now you have to deal with life. Now you have all these feelings and all these thoughts hitting you at 1,000,000 miles per hour, plus your brain chemistry is all screwed up. So you get irritable, you get neurotic, you get obsessive, sleep is bad. It's a lot of things working against you in early sobriety, and I'm no exception to that rule. I've just been through it before, so I think I'm less immediately fearful. And I've experienced a long-term sobriety, which can comfort me as well. I've been sober for a couple of years, but my goal is to not just be sober, but be deep in a recovery program, so that I've got the tools and the physical sobriety to create a life that's more manageable long-term, or I'm going to die one way or another. We can make another video on what I do to deal with depression and early sobriety, but I think just for this video alone, I just wanted to share that in hopes of it comforting you if you're in new sobriety like I am. It could be PAWS, post-acute withdrawal syndrome. Bottom line is I definitely get depressed, and it's stressful, and you know what? I use it as a reminder to not go back. I don't want to have to go through this part of early sobriety again. I don't, and I'm not entirely sure how long this will last, but it doesn't really matter. Ever forward, I know what I want. I know where I've been, where I don't want to go, and I'm going to do what is suggested. I'm going to work a recovery program. I'm not going to try to solve this myself. My best thinking got me here, and I'm going to try to be brave with this depression, this anxiety. I really am, because I'm definitely feeling it. The first week I was just so pumped that I wasn't drinking. I couldn't believe I wasn't drinking, and now it's like, okay, we have work to do, and I've got a brain to nurture and a body to nurture, so I'm just going to try to control what I can, seek comfort and guidance from those who have gone before me, and trek forward. It will be worth it. In general, I have a lot of experience with depression and anxiety, and I've been medicating with the alcohol, so please know that it is normal. It will get better. Control what you can. Don't give in. Get help. Work a recovery program. Don't try to do it on your own. And it's a worthy fight against a very, very worthy foe. So stay active, stay brave, turn it over, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Please share your experiences in the comments below. I don't pretend to know it all. I'm just one of us, just sharing. So I look forward to reading your stories very much. Thanks, guys. One day, 1 hour, 1 minute at a time, we absolutely can get through what we're going through. We can do it together, I promise. I look forward to feeling a little more upbeat, but all in due time. It could be tomorrow. My mood's swinging like a mother. It's ridiculous.